back when I was first breaking into the business, there was no question. Guys knew which restroom to use. When it comes to being offended, if just not even a sliver of what we would talk about in the car rides were ever to air on TV today, we would be canceled and buried in a heartbeat. And so people are easily offended now, which I think hurts the wrestling business. The idea back in the day was the heel is supposed to offend the people. The people are supposed to develop such a hatred for that heel that they want to pay big money to watch the babyface kick the heel's ass. But now the heel is walking on eggshells. You can't be a real heel in this industry unless, well, I shouldn't say you can't be. It is refreshing to see at least one person bring back old school heelism. And to me, what I'm seeing today in the industry is one man's doing that. One man, and that's MJF. He's bringing back that old school. I think he's the best thing going right now. You had people like Jericho, but Jericho you expect it from. He's old school. You expect him not to give a rat's ass about people being offended. You just expect that from Jericho. You know how he was brought up. He was brought up in that time where offended. I'm not offended by that. I might be angry that you said that to me, but I'm not offended about it. Let's work this out. Now it's like there is no working it about it. It's like I'm offended, and now I'm going to take this public, and we're gonna cancel you on all your social media, and they just want to get rid of you. So you expect it from Jericho to really have that grit and have that grit come out in his performances. But the only new guy that I see working today in this industry that is really embracing that old school mentality and doesn't seem to really care if he's offending people, which is fantastic because that's missing in pro wrestling, and that's MJF. Mm-hmm. And I think it's refreshing to see the work he's doing. The promos he cuts is incredible. He's one of those guys that I personally think when I hear MJF swear, which I'm hearing a lot of guys swear in AEW, I think when MJF swears, and this is just my personal opinion and being a little more mature in the business now, I look at MJF, I'm hanging on every word coming out of his mouth, and then a swear word comes out. Now, if you had asked me 10 years ago, I wouldn't even have thought twice about the swear word, but he's making his entire character the epitome of why MJF exists, is pinpointed to money. The end result of every promo is, why do you do what you do? Money. Who's going to pay me the most? So he's made that the pinnacle of his career, and everything he says and everything he does is geared towards accomplishing that goal of more money, right? And so he's identified, and the fans identify why MJF exists. Money. The man loves money. Everything he does is geared towards that. He'll use offensive tactics in order to, elicit that emotional reaction with the fans. He's not afraid to do it. But when he drops a cuss word, if the epitome of your goal is money, you got to know that if you have 100 people watching you, doesn't matter. This is just the reality of your audience, the reality of society. The second you drop a cuss word, it might only be 2, 3, 4% of the audience, but they're going to turn the channel. That 2, 3, even if it's 1% of several million people watching, that's a huge drop in viewership. And ultimately, that's a little drop in money because ratings matter. And he gets that. You can hear it in his promos. But he doesn't get that if it's about money, he should go out there and say, you know what? I've watched my promos, and he always says he's analytical with the ratings. And I'm analytical with the ratings, and I know that every time I drop a cuss word, like, let's be real, right? Because it's something the fans can go and check out for themselves. And when I drop a cuss word, I can see the analytical ratings drop a little bit. So from now on, I've realized that I'm too damn good on this mic. I don't need to cuss. You're all hanging off every word I say anyway. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think if he came out, and I think the cussing that MJF does, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have made me cringe. Now it's like, oh, he was doing so good. He just lost about 3% of his audience there on that one promo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's I think MJF is so damn good at what he does, it hurts him when a cuss word slips out. But he's young. What is he, 25, 26, something like that?
26, 27, something like that. Yeah.
I think he's smart enough. I think he'll realize that eventually. And I think eventually he'll be like, I don't really need to cuss. I'm over. I get over because of what I talk about. And I think, I don't know. I hope he catches on to that. And I think he's intelligent enough that he will catch on to it.